A historic draft just took place under our noses, and while the jury is always out on prospects until they at least hit the gridiron, I think you're going to like what I have to say about this one. Please subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content. It really helps me out, and I very much appreciate it. But let's start off with just a quick question for you, all right? This is not a question that'll throw you off, but what's your draft grade for the San Francisco 49ers, all right? I want to get to this historic thing in just a second because it is pretty crazy when you think about it. But before we do that, I'm just curious. Comment below what your draft grade is on the 49ers. I've found a lot of people that are feeling really good about some aspects of the draft and really disappointed / even a little confused about a couple of other things that happened in the draft. So, what 49ers draft would it be if there wasn't at least one pick that had everybody going, what? So we'll get to all of that in this video and in the coming days because there's so much to break down from this draft. It was eventful. It was interesting. It was really fascinating from a 49ers perspective. But first, your draft grade. The best draft grade I've seen so far, and there's still just now coming out, was a B-. And I want to say I'm not even sure I would go that low. I'm actually confident I wouldn't go that low, but I at least get where they're coming from. My favorite part about the B-, by the way, and by the way, if you don't know draft grades, pretty much always go ABC. There are no D's and F's typically. It's always ABC. So B- is below middle, okay? 21 out of 32 if you want to look at the numbers, okay? But here is what they said. Best pick, of course, Mykel Williams. No surprise there. Value pick was Upton Stout. That's an interesting one. We could talk about that as well. But yes, if you want to look at like in terms of where they were supposed to be drafted, where they were drafted, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Listen to this. Such a classic, non-flashy 49ers draft. You get arguably the best defensive lineman available in Williams. You get another rotational piece in Collins in the second. Then you keep beefing up that defense with linebackers and defensive backs. San Francisco's demise was greatly exaggerated. Does that sound like the kind of team that just got a 21 out of 32 draft grade? Not exactly to me, but whatever, okay? I think the people who are drafting, and I'm not going to speak for you. You can let me know in the comments. Speak for yourself. But what I'm seeing in the comments, what I'm seeing in social media is that the people who are not happy with the 49ers, not happy with how they approach the draft comes down to two things. Number one, it comes down to the San Francisco 49ers not drafting an offensive lineman early in the draft, leaving that until the very end of the draft. Okay? Understood. I respect your position. I don't entirely see that need as strongly as many other people do. I will not go as far as Kyle Shanahan does in terms of his confidence in the offensive line, but I definitely feel better about the offensive line than the average 49ers fan. I'll put it to you that way. The second thing that a lot of people are, kind of knocking the 49ers for is taking an opportunity to grab a quarterback when there are still draft needs that could be met. Now, it's the classic best player available thing, right? And my position, and I know many of you, I've asked you about it before, and you've told me in the comment section, my position on best player available is BPA is a luxury. It's not something you can afford to do when you get rid of so many players on your team that you're genuinely needing the draft to fill spots on your roster. BPA is something that in the very first round, sometimes the value of the player is so high that you're willing to make that exception even if you need players and you have to fill roles. However, later in the draft, for me, it is fill your holes. And so if the argument, and I don't know what it is, but if the argument from the 49ers is, well, we took a quarterback because he was the best player available, I don't really get that because the 49ers still have draft needs. Now, of course, they know the whole plan. They know how they're going to fill the remaining spots, like the swing tackle role that we had. I'm blanking on his name. The left tackle after Trent Williams got injured. It starts with a J. Oh, my word. Jalen. Oh, my word. Anyway, doesn't matter. Not important right now. He got paid crazy money to go to Kansas City, as you know. The point is, the 49ers have big needs. Maybe they know exactly how they want to fill those needs. Okay, whatever. Let's keep going, though. I look forward to seeing what you think about draft grades. We'll have plenty of time to break down all of this stuff later, of course. But let's look at the draft picks are there on the screen. You can screenshot it if you haven't already done something like that and you want to look at each of those players one by one at a time or something like that. There you go. Okay, you even have the rankings there. This is courtesy of The Athletic, Matt Barrows, by the way. And I will say, as I always do when I cover anything that Matt Barrows talks about, it is behind a paywall, and so I'm not going to share everything that is in the Matt Barrows article, and I'll encourage you to check out The Athletic for more. But he had this really, really interesting article that came out tonight on the 49ers 2025 NFL Draft takeaways, a defensive-heavy draft not seen in 44 years. Their first 5 draft picks all came on defense. We've talked about that, of course. The first time the franchise has done that since its famed 1981 draft that landed Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, and Carlton Williamson, which, of course, by the way, we're not talking about linemen in that scenario, but just defense in general, okay? But obviously you can see that there. Defensive backs, not linemen. But the point is still pretty crazy that this was a historic draft. The 49ers did something they haven't done in 44 years. That by itself is something that's intriguing to me. And of course, it worked out really well for them last time. Will it work out this one? We don't know. We have to give time for all that to take place, okay? So when I say historic draft, I mean historic in the statistical sense. I'm not talking about like this draft class is historic, all right? We don't know yet. They'll have to earn that right. But it's just some throw out a couple things that Matt Barrows said in his article I thought was really interesting. We have to get to some other unfortunate news that just dropped, by the way, as well. But Oregon running back Jordan James rushed for 1,267 yards last season, scored 15 touchdowns, and was solid as both a receiver and pass protector, getting best value pick by Matt Barrows. That he fell to the 49ers in the 5th round likely was a product of his ho-hum speed for a small running back. Yes, he ran a 4.55 second 40, and the fact that the draft was uncommonly deep at running back. 8 of them were taken before James went in the 9th pick of the 5th round. James was a favorite of former 49ers running back Frank Gore and running backs coach Bobby T. So, obviously, they got their guy then. If he's a favorite, he's a favorite. It doesn't really matter if he's a 4.5, a little bit slower, right? If he can do other things that elevate your team. Of course, same thing is true for Isaac Guerendo on the flip side. Isaac Guerendo can be an absolute lightning bolt in 4.3 speed. Doesn't really matter if he can't stay healthy. We'll be waiting to see if he can stay healthy in the future. Biggest question mark move by the 49ers was not a quarterback being selected. The biggest question mark move was Oklahoma State linebacker Nick Martin has the speed the 49ers want at the weak side linebacker spot, having run his 40 in 4.53 seconds. One of the fastest times for a linebacker at the scouting combine. The pre-draft publications, however, noted that his speed sometimes got Martin in trouble by causing him to overrun plays and accumulate missed tackles, 20 of them in 2023. We've all seen that play out before, haven't we? Martin will compete with D. Winters, another speedy linebacker for the weak side spot, a critical position of need after Dre Greenlaw left for the Denver Broncos in free agency. How do you like that pick, by the way? I actually liked that pick. I didn't see it coming. I didn't pick it, but I like it. 5th round selection, Marquise Siegel, meanwhile, feels like a sneaky good selection. So this one's cool. Siegel was the fastest safety at the combine, running a 4.37 40, and said he can play 4 spots: free safety, strong safety, nickel corner, and dime defender. He could push Jair Brown or Malik Mustafa for snaps with the starting unit. We're going to get back to Malik Mustafa in a second. Because unfortunately, Malik Mustafa, per Adam Schefter, delayed but significant injury news, 49er safety Malik Mustafa, who is believed to be the replacement for free agent safety Talanoa Hufanga, tore his ACL during San Francisco's regular season finale and is not expected to be ready for the start of the 2025 season. So that is incredibly unfortunate news. The San Francisco 49ers, of course, knew this information. We did not know this information. They did. We'll get to that in a second, but some more details that we have to get to first. David Lombardi pointed out the 49ers signed Jason Pinnock. You remember him and Richie Grant, both of whom have starting safety experience as well as a little bit of special teams as well. Knowing the Mustafa news, those probably are the names to watch for as fill-in starters to begin the season over any rookies. Jennifer Lee Chan threw in another detail that it was the same knee he injured in 2022, Mustafa was seen on the side of the field watching the club's local pro day a few weeks ago without crutches. There's a nice little benefit for you there. He is on his way back. He is recovering, but boy, the 49ers could not catch a break, could they? The 49ers obviously knew this. This is David Lombardi here, but their fans can't escape that cursed season. Malik Mustafa tore his ACL on January 5th. Best case scenario is a 9-month September return. He's very likely to start the season on PUP. So let's just talk about the news real fast. As an immediate raw reaction, obviously this isn't completely raw. I literally put these graphics on the screen, so I did see this news, but haven't had a whole lot of time to process this. My immediate disappointment is, one, it's a recurring injury. Any recurring injury scares me because I don't want to see a guy like Malik Mustafa who has so much potential, so much power, downhill thumper. I don't want to see a guy like him never reach his potential because of repeated injuries. And when it's happening on the same leg, that concerns me. The flip side of that, I guess I'll say, is we will get an opportunity for the 49ers to play some other guys at the position. Jair Brown in Talanoa Hufanga's stead played pretty well. So could there be an opportunity for Jair Brown to step it up as he needs to this season after having less of a good season last season? I don't know how to say that the correct way. He stepped backwards last year a little bit, and so I'd love to see him step forwards again. I think in Robert Saleh's scheme, with the extra help that he's getting from the defense, assuming that they play up to the level we think they're capable of, and Robert Saleh's system and all of that, I think we could see better out of Jair Brown. I hope so. We'll have to wait and see, of course. And, I'm really disappointed by the Malik Mustafa news. Some other things that the 49ers have done make a lot more sense now. I wasn't really confused about them before, but now I'm like, oh, that makes more sense than it did before. So, we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But as I mentioned earlier today, 31 days until OTAs. As soon as I keep double checking, as soon as I get that rookie minicamp date, that's going to be the next one that goes up there because that's the one I'm real hyped about, seeing all these guys in the red and the gold. It was really cool to see Michael Williams with the jersey and all that good stuff. But, we'll get to see everybody out there. We get to see them on the field. We get to see them side by side with other beasts and see the size difference and all that stuff. There's just so much fun that comes there. Get to interview them and learn from them. So it's going to be a really, really good opportunity. So until then, we have 31 days until, OTAs, whatever, the next actual official OTA begins. So lots of good stuff there. Appreciate you guys. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. See you soon.